Charana Renu Bhajanayanu Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajanayanu Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Premanati Karamula Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Premanati Karamula
Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjan-shalakaya Chakshurumlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namaha. Anarpitam charim chirat karunyavatin kalau samarpetam unnato jarasam swabhakti shriyam Haripura sundar duti kadamba sandipita sada hriday kandareshu surutavai sachinandana Ajanulambito bhujo kanakvadato sankirtane kapitro kamala yatakshu Vishambaro Dujvaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Yavataro He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopeshe Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Bhaktya vihinay aparad lakshay Shiptasya kamadhitaranga madhe Kripamayi tam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanarvindam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, very auspicious day. Madhav Tithi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palan Kori Krishna Vasati Vasati Boli Parama Adara Kori. Today is very auspicious Ekadashi Tithi. And Ekadashi Tithi is known as Janani, mother of Bhakti Devi. Bhakti which is very difficult to attain. Which is Sudurlabha, described by Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. Bhakti is Sudurlabha. And Bhagavatam, Krishna says, Mukti dadatit kahachit samana bhakti yoga. I can give liberation very easily. I can fulfill all material desires easily. But samana bhakti yoga. Krishna is very reluctant sometimes to give bhakti. So that makes bhakti sudurlabha. But by following Ekadashi Vrata, and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ji, he used to utter a verse on Ekadashi day. Upavasya tu papebhyo yastu vasa gunai saha upavasam tu vigyam natu upavasam langanam. Ekadashi means to reside with Bhagwan, reside with Krishna. Not only refrain from grains, which is true, but refrain from sinful activities. And this is again secondary. Prime reason for Ekadashi is to reside with the name, form, qualities and the pastimes of Krishna. So we can make best use of Ekadashi Vrata. And also today is a very auspicious day. disappearance day of one of the associate of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, है ना? The personal cook of Srila Prabhupada, the personal servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, है ना? Just like it says, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kari Saparsha Swadham Sahavatari अत्यंत दुर्लभ प्रेम कौरी वारेदान शिखाओ शरणागति भगतेर प्राण. Just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended with all his associates to give what? Prema Bhakti. Similarly, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he came with all his associates to make us understand how to perform sadhan to attain that prema which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give to us. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Saparshad, he came with his associates, and all associates of Srila Prabhupada were so powerful, and they have shown the ideal conduct. Saparshad Swadham. So, who was Krishna Keshav Brahmachari? Me and my godbrother Madhapriya Prabhu, after we got initiation in Jagannath Puri by Guru Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosai Maharaj, we came in contact with Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, where we found Srila Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharati Gosai Maharaj. We heard a lot about him. That was year 96, some 96, 97. And next door of Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj, next door was Srila Krishna Keshav Brahmachari. So we got some little opportunity to serve him. That was 97. And to hear Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit from him. He used to give very deep insight, the verses of Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit. He used to tell us some stories of Srila Prabhupada and his life experience of services with Srila Prabhupada. Very humble, very simple, very humble, and very introvert in his advanced age. But when he was young, he served Srila Prabhupada like anything. So let us read from the article written by Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj in glorification. And you find this article also in my beloved masters. And there is an audio book also. So, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj is explaining in this article, attention is the key to success in service. What is the key to success in service? Attention. Immediately after Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari received Harinam and Diksha from Srila Prabhupada, he began performing various services in the mutt. Immediately after receiving Harinam and Diksha, he began performing various services in the mutt. He was particularly avid in assisting Srila Prabhupada's cook by cutting and preparing vegetables, shopping for ingredients, scrubbing pots, and cleaning the kitchen. So this is a service Krishna Keshav Prabhu, he started assisting the cook of Srila Prabhupada, after his initiation. But once, while Srila Prabhupada and his preaching party, which included his cook, were en route from Mumbai to Kolkata, his cook became worried he would have been unable to punctually provide Srila Prabhupada with prasad upon their arrival. The cook was little worried. Srila Prabhupada was so punctual, and he's traveling with so many other brahmacharis and sannyasis. When Srila Prabhupada and his entourage reached the mutt, Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari had his meal cooked and ready to be served. When the cook saw all the items Sripad Krishna Keshav Prabhu had prepared, he was surprised beyond belief. They were nearly identical to those he usually prepared. So the cook was so surprised. How this new devotee, he has cooked exactly how Srila Prabhupada wanted, and how the cook, all the time he's cooking for Prabhupada. So, surprised beyond belief, they were nearly identical to those he usually prepared. After Srila Prabhupada honored Prasad, his cook told him that Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari had prepared his meal that day. Srila Prabhupada asked, "Really? I could not tell the difference. Did you teach him how to cook?" Srila Prabhupada was surprised. "Did you teach him how to cook?" The servant replied, "No, Prabhupada. I never taught him to cook, but he does help me in the kitchen whenever he is around." Srila Prabhupada summoned Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari and asked him, "From where did you learn to cook?" And Krishna Keshav Brahmachari replied, "By carefully watching Prabhu cooking every day, I learned just by watching. You know, so expert. He grasps everything, all those techniques, how to cook according to the standard of Srila Prabhupada. You know, sometimes cooks are so slow, and even after watching for long and long and long, they're not able to, yeah, because the attention is not there. The attention is somewhere else. And the subheading of this article says attention is the key to success. It's not only about cooking, it's also about other areas of services. One who is attentive, even if it is archan to the deities, decorating deities, whatever it is, if we are very attentive, then it is the key to success. Amongst the 10 offenses towards holy name, one offense is inattentive chanting. Yeah. While we chant, if we are not attentive, then we don't get success. Chanting needs so much attention. Very important point. At least some number of rounds of chanting should be with so many prayers, emotions from the heart prayers, and attentive chanting. What is the purpose of my chanting? What I'm going to achieve by this? This is called attentiveness. So what to speak of chanting and other areas of services? Srila Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, he was so attentive looking the cook how he's cooking for Srila Prabhupada and the whole entourage, that he prepared everything identical. So when he said, by carefully watching Prabhu cook every day, Srila Prabhupada said, you are sure to be successful in whatever you dedicate your full attention or wish to learn. This is called blessings. When you impress Guru and Krishna, there's no need to even tell, Gurudev, please bless me, or Krishna, please bless me. The blessings comes from the heart, not from the words. Even if there is no words, but when the heart melts to see someone's dedication, endeavors, the blessings comes from the heart. Srila Prabhupada, when he saw how Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, he qualified in serving And which department? The cooking department. One can think cooking department is very, slow kind, and it has nothing to do with spiritual practices. But without cooking, no prasad. And when there is no prasad, starving, you can't even chant. You can't even do any services. Shri Radha Rani, where? In Nandagaon. She used to come every day to Nandagaon from her in-laws, Javad, from Jatila, to cook for Shri Krishna in hundred of ovens with the help of her Sakhis. She cooked for Krishna, right? So, cooking seva, especially serving Prabhupada and his associates, Srila Krishna Kesha Brahmachari, he immediately took that impression and he started serving everyone. And what comes as a blessings from Srila Prabhupada? You are sure to be successful in whatever you dedicate your full attention or wish to learn. That's the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. I heard one other story, long time back. Once upon a time, on the occasion of Janmashtami, devotees, they were working so hard to make the festival of Janmashtami a success under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. And they were going here and there collecting some donations to make this a grand festival. And after being endeavoring for a month and following Janmashtami, fasting, and observe the festival, they all became so tired. And after prasadam, they all went to rest because next day is Nandamotsav. They all went to rest. Sri Prabhupada was chanting midnight and he heard a noise like a machine. So he came out from his room and he was chanting and he saw a brahmachari was cutting the grass with a machine. And Srila Prabhupada said, "Who is there?" And he replied, "Oh, it's me." "So what are you doing midnight?" Then he was a little nervous. He said, "No, tell me, why are you cutting grass in midnight?" He replied, "Srila Prabhupada, actually the brahmachari who was supposed to take care of the cows is so tired. He worked so hard. So I think he forgot to feed cows. And when I was about to rest, I saw the brahmachari sleeping and he's tired. So I woke up. Srila Prabhupada said, "But you are also tired." He said, "No problem, I can take rest tomorrow. But I don't want cows to feel reluctant, to left without any food." Hearing this, heart, Srila Prabhupada's heart melted. And right away a sentence came from his mouth. "You have so much concern and seva for the cows of Krishna. This is going to be your last birth." Seeing his endeavors and service. So regarding service, when things are favorable, everyone feel encouraged to serve. When things are favorable, right? Everything is so conducive, favorable, and one feels so happy and pleasure in service. But in unfavorable circumstances, one feels reluctant. But that's actually the challenge. When the heart of Krishna, the heart of Guru melts, not in a favorable circumstance, but in an unfavorable circumstance. Hearing all abusements, hearing all criticism, hearing everything, but still accomplishing the task, accomplishing the service of Guru. That actually makes the heart of Krishna melt. And the blessings comes from Guru and Vaishnavas. And when the blessings of Guru Vaishnavas are there, one feel encouragement and feel elevation in the service to Krishna. So, the example how that brahmachari was cutting grass, an example here, Krishna Kesha Prabhu, so attentive in service, you know, this actually melted the heart of Srila Prabhupada. And the words comes after that, actually is the blessings. You are sure to be successful in whatever you dedicate your full attention to or to wish to learn. You should go on like this, learning the key principles of bhajan. Srila Prabhupada said, you should go on like this, learning the key principle of bhajan. By this, you will surely obtain auspiciousness. After this incident, Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari would cook for Srila Prabhupada from time to time and would lovingly bestow Srila Prabhupada's remnants to whoever would ask for them. Seeing his expertise in cooking, Prabhupada engaged him in his service. Devotees, they put him in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And he started cooking for Srila Prabhupada. And from time to time, he's lovingly bestowing Srila Prabhupada's remnants to all the devotees, whoever is asking for. He used to say, Srila Prabhupada always ate very little. Oh, this is, I'm reading, but I personally heard from Krishna Keshav Prabhu when he was in Jagannath Puri. He used to say, he used to say, I bring a plate to Srila Prabhupada with many preparations, and when I go in his room after he finished his prasad, I don't see anything he ever even ate. Everything is just there. The whole plate is like as it was. He didn't took anything from that plate. So now that means very mystical, magical. One perspective is Srila Prabhupada always used to eat very little. Very little. You can't even see from where he took. Another reason is wherever Srila Prabhupada touch, everything become purna, complete. So Srila Prabhupada ate very little. I noticed whenever I served him his meals, there always seemed to be the same amount left on his plate as I brought him. Yeah, we used to hear this from Krishna Keshav Prabhu. This was one of the experience Krishna Keshav Prabhu shared with us. Guru Maharaj, right hand man. This other subheading. Krishna Keshav Prabhu became the right hand man of Guru Maharaj, means Srila Bhakti Dayit Madhav Gosai Maharaj. When the excessive disturbance that followed Srila Prabhupada's disappearance caused the Gaudiya Math mission to split into two factions. When Srila Prabhupada disappeared, there was a split in the Sangha. There was two parties, and big disturbance was there. It was 1937. Yeah. Guru Maharaj took possession of Shri Chaitanya Math on behalf of Shri Kunj Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu. So many of you you're not familiar with the names, but these are the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and all of them were very, very strong preachers. So Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Gosai Maharaj, he took the possession of Shri Chaitanya Math to save the legacy of Srila Prabhupada, to serve his Math established by him, Shri Chaitanya Math. Many of the godbrothers insistently requested him to take sannyas and start accepting disciples. But Srila Madhav Gosai Maharaj was a little reluctant to accept disciples. But many of his godbrothers, seeing his powerful Harikatha, seeing his powerful conduct, his surrender mode to Srila Prabhupada, they all used to encourage him to accept disciples and to take over the mission because there's so much disturbance going on. It was largely Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari who influenced Guru Maharaj to finally agree to his God brother's proposal. Krishna Keshav Prabhu, he inspired Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, saying that Srila Prabhupada has left behind such a massive mission. Srila Prabhupada has left behind such a massive mission, he told Guru Maharaj. How will its services continue on properly if a qualified person like you refuses to accept disciples? How it's going to function? How it's going to maintain if you won't accept disciples? How the mission will grow? So accepting disciples also becomes the part of the service to grow the mission, to maintain the mission, and to encourage living entities to accept Harinam Diksha. So there are many purposes and there's many reasons Acharyas, they accept disciples. Even though internally they feel very humble, even though they are powerful, they feel so humble. But for the sake of the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they accept disciples. That was the perspective of Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj. But Krishna Keshav Prabhu inspired him. Maharaj, what going to happen to the massive mission of Srila Prabhupada if person like you not coming forward and accepting disciples? If you begin avoiding initiations, I will accept the responsibility of bringing prospective disciples to you. Krishna Keshav Prabhu said, I will preach on your behalf and I will bring people to you. I will bring disciples to you. It's a great responsibility. When you have faith in someone and you're working under his guidance and shelter for the sake of serving the mission of Guru Maharaj, serving the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I will accept the responsibility of bringing prospective disciples to you. Having received his dear Godbrother's support, Guru Maharaj agreed to accept disciples. Then Guru Maharaj agreed, okay. Sometime later, Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari took Guru Maharaj to Assam. That's like east part of the India, to Assam, where by his tireless efforts, Guru Maharaj preaching met with great success. Guru Maharaj here means Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj. Grand success. And Assam is a territory where Sri Narottam Thakur used to preach. The preaching starts from three Prabhus. Who are these three Prabhus? Sri Narottam, Shyamananda, Srinivas Prabhutraya. Preaching, the massive preaching started with these three Prabhus. So this territory, Assam, was the territory of Sri Narottam Thakur. And he transformed the whole state to devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They all become Vaishnavas. Even now, if you go Assam, you will see ladies, they are wearing saffron cloths. Even ladies. Even up now. So much influence of the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ji, he met with great success, but who assisted him, became his right hand man, was Srila Krishna Keshav Prabhu. Being attracted and inspired by Sri Krishna Keshav Brahmachari's explanations of Srila Prabhupada's immaculate teachings, many people took shelter of Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. Krishna Keshav Prabhu, he used to speak Harikatha giving very simple examples. Very simple. Sometimes philosophy which is very deep and very difficult to explain can be uh, easily explained with some examples. Like we heard this from we heard this from Srila Bhaktivedanta Sri Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj, that once upon a time at Prayag, the confluence of three rivers, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, they always used to be a Kumbh Mela where million and million of sadhus and householders come and take bath in the conjunction of these three rivers. According to that auspicious constellation, the Kumbh Mela, very famous Kumbh Mela. So, Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Gosai Maharaj, along with all his associates, disciples, and godbrothers, he used to hold camp there for Harikatha. So, disciples of Srila Prabhupada not going Kumbh Mela to take bath in the river, but they are going those places to make everyone take bath in the river of Ganga of Harikatha, Harikatha Mandakini, है ना? To make everyone aware of the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Madhav Gosai Maharaj was speaking Harikatha, and he was speaking very basics. And many scholars were also present there and hearing this. And they become little doubtful. This tall figure person looks like very intellectual, but he's speaking so basics. And Krishna Keshav Prabhu, he saw the faces of those people, the scholars. He took over mic and then he said, I mean, there are some details in that story, some different versions, but the essence is, he told, if a teacher in the class teaching A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, he's teaching to the students the alphabet A, B, C, D. It's not that teacher is learning and he's not aware of or not intellectual enough to know what is A meant for and what is B and what C and D. He's very intelligent. The teacher is very sharp, very intelligent and intellectual, but he's only teaching to the young ones what is A, B, C and D. Similarly, this Mahapurush here, what he's speaking, don't believe that he don't know the deep philosophies. He knows so much, but only for you people. He's speaking some basics here. In this way, Srila Krishna Prabhu used to explain Srila Prabhupada's teachings in a with very simple examples. And because of his support, many people took shelter of Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Gosai Maharaj. A good many of those new devotees became renounced and joined Math, and later on Guru Maharaj even awarded some of them sannyas. Imagine. So as Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj used to say, some acharyas, they are behind the scenes, and some acharyas, they are in front of the scenes. Behind the curtains, in front of curtains. Those who are in front of curtains, they are known by so many people in the world. But there are some behind the curtains. They always hide. But they do have so much support in bringing people to Krishna consciousness. Guru Maharaj regarded Shri Krishna Keshav Brahmachari as his right-hand man, and he had particular affection for him. Devotees who have taken shelter of Shri Chaitanya Gauriya shall remain forever indebted to Shri Krishna Keshav Brahmachari. He did a lot for the preaching of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, always assisting Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, his dear godbrother. A fitting response to criticism. Once Shri Srimad Bhakti Vilas Tirth Goswami Maharaj. Wait. Anyway, I'm going to read something else, not this part. At Guru Maharaj's invitations, many disciples of Srila Prabhupada gathered to attend the annual festival at Kolkata branch of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. One day, at the very end of the assembly, Guru Maharaj asked Sripad Krishna Kesha Brahmachari to speak. This is very interesting. Srila Maharaj used to speak a lot about this. So, Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, he invited so many disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Actually, he introduced this, the assemblies. Yeah, he used to host assemblies and inviting big dignitaries and high profile people like leaders, politicians, judges to attend the ceremony, and used to invite all his godbrothers, and there used to be one subject, and everyone was speaking on that one particular subject, on one particular word from Srimad Bhagavatam of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they go elaborate on that for days and days and days. You know. So once upon a time, everyone was gathered to attend the annual festival of Kolkata branch Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. One day, at the very end of the assembly, Guru Maharaj asked Sripad Krishna Kesha Brahmachari to speak. In his address, he said, according to the philosophy the Vaishnava speakers have expounded today, I can say that no one here, whether sitting on the dais or on the ground, has attained Bhagwan. He said, those who are sitting on the dais and those who are sitting on the ground, I can say that no one here, whether sitting on the dais or the ground, has attained Bhagwan. The scriptures state, if there is a meeting, there cannot be separation. If there is separation, then one cannot remain alive. This is a verse. Jadi hai sanjog, tabe nahi hai viyog. Jadi hai viyog, tabe na take pran. That means, if there is a meeting, there cannot be separation. One feels separation, but there is no separation from the heart. Feeling separation and totally separated is two different things. Two friends very close. So they separate. That calls separation. But two friends very close and they're feeling separation from each other. They are feeling that separation mood is not that they have separated. If there is a meeting, there cannot be separation. You understand? This is pure love. This is about pure love. When the heart meet with Krishna, if there is one time meeting with Guru, Hari Guru Vaishnav, then there is no separation. If there is separation, then one cannot remain alive. And if the separation happens, they can't live alive. Therefore, the fact that everyone assembled here today is showing signs of life is proof they have never met Bhagwan. Such a bold statement. Krishna Kesha Prabhu was like this. He never cared for who's sitting. He always used to be. As I just learned and heard one word, blunt, honest. Very blunt, honest. Therefore, the fact that everyone assembled here today is showing the signs of life, means they are alive, is proof they have never met Bhagwan. If they had truly met him, they would be unable to maintain their life in separation from him. So this was a bold statement, he said. Now, after Prasad that night, Shishimad Bhakti Vikas Rishikesh Goswami Maharaj, a disciple of Prabhupada, admonished Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari in front of their godbrothers. He said it was improper to question whether the person seated on the dais have attained Bhagwan. We all accept disciples now. It was unwise to proclaim such ideas in front of our followers. That's not correct. That's not polite what you said. In front of my followers, our disciples were sitting there. Sripad Krishna Keshav Prabhu replied, this happened only because I was allocated as much time as it takes you to recite the invocations before your lecture. So what is my fault? I was only given short time. You all give long invocation, Agyan Timrandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya, and it goes like 10 minutes, 50 minutes, and this much time, I only allocated this much time to speak. So here again what he said, very interesting. He said this happened only because I was allocated as much time as it takes you to recite the invocation before your lecture. I had presented only one aspect of this multifaceted subject when the kartals chimed and indicated I should conclude. What can I do? I just said this statement and they ring kartal, chimed kartal, and I have to finish. I had not finished explaining. If I am given sufficient time tomorrow, I will explain the rest. So, very interesting. Next day, when Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, he asked Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari to speak. Then Sripad Krishna Keshav Brahmachari narrated a story. And what is that story? Once, this is what Krishna Keshav Prabhu, you speak very often, this story. He said, I was not given time to speak. I just said one line and they ring kartal and say, okay, enough. I didn't finish yet. I said, you all have not attained Bhagwan. This is a sign. You have never met Bhagwan. So they all felt offended. What impressions our followers will get? So next day he said, I want to narrate one story. Once a painter was told to paint a sign on a wall. Like in India, the painters, they write so many slogans. Also here I saw in New York. So painter was told to paint a sign on the wall that read, Ekhane peshab koribe na. That's Bengali. Means do not pass urine here. This is how Krishna Prabhu used to. He used to take very simple narrations, like stories, but it has a deep meaning. So painter was told to write, Ekhane peshab koribe na. Don't pass urine here. He had painted the first three words, pass urine here. Sorry. He had painted the first three words, Ekhane pechab koriben, means pass urine here, before night fell and forced him to stop painting. Because then it got dark, he was not able to write the complete sentence. So pass urine here. Naturally, people started urinating there the next morning, thinking they had express permission. The employer chastised the painter. What you did? Everyone is passing urine here. When the employer chastised the painter, who replied, Sir, this was not my fault. It got dark before I could finish. Do not worry. Now that the sun has risen, I will immediately paint the last word na and complete the sign. Only one word was missing. Don't pass urine here. So only this word na means no was missing. So now I'm going to do this. A similar incident occurred when I spoke yesterday. This is what I wanted to say. That yesterday I said, you all have, none of you have ever met Bhagwan because you all are alive. This is the sign that you never ever met Bhagwan because you all are alive. And they stopped me speaking. This is like a painter, and nightfall fell and he was not able to complete. So I was not given chance to complete my sentence. A similar incident occurred when I spoke yesterday, so I will now conclude my unfinished point. The devotees, what he wanted to say is, the devotees seated on the dais before you today, the devotees seated on the dais before you today are like modest, wealthy persons who claim they have no money. Although they say, Na prem gandho asti, although they say, I have not a scent of prem in me, do not think they have not obtained Krishna prem. This is their humility. They are saying, I have no scent of prem. I have not inch of prem in me. But this is their humility. That doesn't mean they don't have prem. Do not think they have not obtained Bhagavad prem. Conversely, we would understand a poor man's claims of poverty to be not an expression of humility, but the truth, and we should sincerely try to help him. The people sitting on the dais today have certainly met Bhagwan. This is what he wanted to actually say, but he twisted his words. Certainly those who are sitting on the dais, they have met Bhagwan. It is solely through the Lord's inconceivable potency that they are able to survive such fatal, unbearable separation from Him. Even though they are feeling intense separation from Bhagwan, but the inconceivable potency of Bhagwan is holding on them, and therefore they are unable to unbearable separation from Him. Bhagwan personally maintains their lives so that they may continue bring Him endless pleasure by serving Him in this world. Actually, he wanted to glorify his God brothers, but he didn't got time. This principle that living is evidence of an absence of Bhagavad Prem cannot be applied to realized personalities. Understand? Note down. The principle that living is evidence of an absence of Bhagavad Prem, Krishna Prem, cannot be applied to realized personalities. It can apply to us, conditioned souls, but it cannot apply to realized personalities. It is meant only for conditioned souls like us. It is for us. So, this is the end of the subheading. In this way, Shri Krishna Keshav Prabhu, he was very intellectual, but his presentations was very simple, with ordinary simple example, so that we can easily understand, we can relate to. But in that ordinary simple examples, he used to emphasize practically of the sadhan and also of the prayojan. Ved the sambandha gyan. This was the style of Srila Krishna Keshav Brahmachari to preach for preaching. And he used to have a foresight. He can see what's going to happen in future. Many times Krishna Keshav Prabhu said many things which came true. So he has this potency, this purity, this potency. Whatever he used to say comes true. Today is Disappearance Day. We all pray to His divine lotus feet. That wherever you are, please shower your blessings and mercy. So we can also understand at this point what is the mission of Srila Prabhupada and how we can participate any humble services in the mission of Srila Prabhupada to attain the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sapasha Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Krishna Krishna Brahmachari ki jai. Itai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo namah.